C'est parti.
Hello, everybody. Hello, beautiful community. Thanks for being with us on this platform. Today we are pre-recording because Facebook has changed their ways of doing things in live streaming. So hope you'll be catching this replay. It's a pleasure to be on this broadcast on a weekly basis, and we have a different series on a weekly basis. And today we are diving into the wilderness of the authentic path with myself and Karine, who will be genuinely and sincerely asking questions on our system of transformation, on personal stories. And today, more specifically, we'll be addressing the embodiment practice, the importance of embodying and incarnating this authenticity so we can appear in our gifts and in our paths. And yes, so I will let Karine take the lead with questions. And yeah, don't hesitate if you have questions, post them underneath the video and tag us if you need. We will address the questions just after.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Karine. Welcome again.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be here and talk with you about this practice that we love and this journey that we are on, both of us. We've been on for a couple of years now. So I wanted to talk about embodiment really because I've noticed that a lot of people talked about that connection to the body that they wanted to find again, maybe, or just find. So it depends on where you are in your journey. So I know this part is really the foundation of everything that we're doing, this transformation system that we're putting out there. So I really wanted to hear you on that.
On the importance of embodiment, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yes. The first thing that comes to me right now is, creating the bridge between dream and reality, between higher calling and spirit and reality and incarnation, because this is where I feel I have trapped myself at one point on my journey, and where I feel a lot of people can be trapped into, I'm going to put it into some kind of illusion. But there's no judgment on the illusion. It's just that, especially when we meditate a lot or when we visualize a lot, it creates this kind of bubble of energy that makes us think that we are there, whatever there is, okay? But at the end of the day, if we bring back all of this vision and all of what we can tap into, it can be in dreams or different timelines, or maybe we can foresee where we want to be going and higher calling. But when we come into reality is there's a gap. There's a gap between our reality and this vision. And the importance of embodiment is to actually break that illusion and realize that it takes work, that it takes courage, that it takes willingness to start our machine, our body, and take those actions and oil our machine and address the needs of our machine, and acknowledge the reality of what's inside, including our emotions, including our memories, our traumas, our dramas, our fierceness, our anger, and everything that we sometimes can also be ugly per se, but beautiful in its ugliness, And so we're not here to bypass anything. This is why embodiment is so important, because when we drop attention from the dream, from the higher calling, from the vision, from higher dimensions, let's put it like this, and bring this down into the body, the temple, in connection with Mother Earth, all our reality is gonna pop in front of our face. It's gonna make us see, okay, I'm here, I'm willing to go there, but in order to go there, I have to clear house. I have to take care of this temple. I have to honor it. I have to respect it. I have to offer it gratitude and thank it. And not in the concept of, repeating some sentences. I am thankful. I am grateful. It's not a robotic thing, and there's no judgment on those techniques, really. It's just that here what we do is really bringing presence, which is love, attention, to our temple. And once our temple, our body feels that quality of presence and that sincerity of deep listening, it will start opening to us. And you notice even my pace of voice is changing right now, because as I'm doing this, I am also bringing attention in my own body. So the pace of the physical body is slower than the pace of other dimensions.
Mm.
And it's important to slow down to be able to feel, to be able to create that space, that spaciousness.
Mm.
And with that spaciousness, we start weaving again with Mother Earth. We land. And as we land, the reality of our body starts appearing. The tensions, the pain, the pleasure, the discomfort, the desires, the ones that are repressed, the ones that we honor. Other reality starts appearing, and it's really amazing. It's not comfortable, like I said, all the time, of course, but the love of the game, as we've been referring to, is what keeps us going. And the love of appearing real and authentic, with the juiciness that comes with it, with the life force that comes with it, is what drives us wherever it leads us, because it's a very uncertain path. But to address what's real in our body is the window, it's the door that we knock on, and when it wants, it opens. So it's not through the control of the mind that the body opens. We cannot force it to open, but the body opens with sincerity and love. And that's what we are here to learn. The self-love, which opens the doors to our gifts and which gives us access to our own unique path, authentic path. And that's why embodiment is so important. It starts with the body. It's the body is the receptacle of our higher calling, of our potential. And it's important to have a nervous system that is grounded enough, that is resilient enough, that can integrate the new information enough in order to take those steps and create the changes required in our lives to break the conditionings and the systems that we have been programmed into, and to create something that is authentic and aligned with where are we being led to go, where are we being called to go. And all of this becomes real when we address the body, or else we burn ourselves a lot, because we can ride the very, very, very fast waves and pace of other dimensions. We can do that, but at one point it can become very, very ungrounded. It ejects us out of the body, and then we can operate at a certain level. But then when we sit down at night, there's a certain disconnection, and it's not sustainable all the time if we haven't addressed our primal issues, if we haven't addressed our deep survival mechanisms and fears. We want to create that bridge between earth and whatever else. And our body is this instrument. Our body is this bridge.
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree with you, of course. What really struck me when you spoke is that first of all, you have to be willing to be intimate with your body. Like, you have to have that willingness to just go discover that part of you, those different parts of you. And also you talked about it opening by itself. And I think that we live in a world that we want to control a lot of stuff. and that part of it is not controllable. You know, the body opens when it's ready, and it's kind of I think it's a learning to learn that the pace of the body is not the same as the pace of the mind, and it's just, you have to let the whole thing unfold.
Yeah, not the pace of the mind, or even like higher dimensions, the pace of really calling and soul and all of this. You know, like we can manifest very, very quickly, but do we see what we manifest? Do we actually say yes to what we manifest? And most of the time what's seen is we manifest, even if we can tap into higher visions, we manifest right away. Sometimes we don't see it. I think it's in the live last week I was naming this. We don't even see it because our eyes are filtered. There's a veil of even toxins that prevents us. Their beliefs are so strong into either believing that we cannot do it, or that it's too much, or that it's not now, or that we're never going to have the support enough. You know, there's so many layers of thoughts, conditionings, and beliefs about ourselves that prevents us from even seeing the opportunities and the yes that we could say. And then let's take the next step that we actually see it. Then what happens most of the time is our body starts shaking. It starts shaking because the potential is starting to enter. It's, well, the potential is here, but the potential is starting to be actualized in our body. And the nervous system starts shaking because it's making us see the fears. But that's the work. That's the work to release those fears and say yes, and yes, and yes, and I'm willing, and yes, and yes, and yes. And then we continue. It's a yes. We have to say yes, or else what happens is we stay in the comfort zone or the statu quo, and that creates stagnation in the body. And it has symptoms and effects in the body like constipation or acidity in the stomach or lack of vitality, lack of libido. You know, there's so many symptoms that come with disconnection from especially the lower part of our body. And that's where the fear is mainly stuck in the body. And we could really dive deep into the subject of symptoms and everything, but it's a science, you know, diving into the body. You know, we desomatize, we de-armor, and obviously we're not the only ones offering this. There are tons of people offering the armoring and somatic experiencing, but the path is going in and looking straight in the face of the pain or the tension or whatever's happening, and having a proper dialogue, a loving dialogue with it, and allowing it to express what it needs to express. And at one point, it decrystallizes and it goes to the root of its design. And then it says, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is the next step. This is who I am. And who I am is I am this one universal energy, but I am also as a body, and I have a DNA, and I have a lineage, and I'm designed, I'm conceived in a certain way that is, at the end of the day, it's to be of service. So when we accept all of what we are as body, then those are all tools. It's the instrument, alive and efficient, to channel the energy and like re-give to others like this. And that's the journey. We've got to have fun in it.
Yeah, because it's not always fun, but I think that you have to just love the journey and the pleasure of discovering yourself into
it's a calling. It's a calling to it's really a calling to be on this journey. It's not for everybody. It's not everybody who listens that will want to jump into something like this. And this is perfect. It's all good, but choose what's aligned for you. Choose what's aligned for. Some people are going to be interested by the practice of embodiment, but will want to use it for well-being, and that's perfect. But there is a possibility to go deeper, to go further, and to really surrender to that calling. And it's I don't like using too much devotional path because it can sound a bit religious and everything, but it's a deep commitment to be aligned with why you exist.
Yeah.
At your rhythm, but yeah, it's saying yes, just keeping on choosing the yes. To keep the machine oiled, and to avoid stagnation and all the symptoms that can come with that.
Yeah, I like the idea of committing to yourself, you know, because we mostly do it to feel better about who we are and what's our real place in all that crazy world we sometimes live in. And so yeah, it's interesting to say yes every day, to do that commitment again. And it's a good reminder also, I feel, that we sometimes need to be reminded that we have to choose ourselves all the way, every day, all the time.
Totally. And choosing ourselves and removing the belief that it's selfish.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's very altruist. I don't know if that word exists in English. C'est vraiment altruist. You know, it's like at the end of the day, we choose ourselves to offer ourselves better to others, because as we choose ourselves and go through such a process, our machine has no other choice than to give back. because it's ignited by life force. There is something that is filling it up, and it just pushes to be aligned with the design. And what you said about also what is our place in this crazy world, I'm going to insist on that. What is our place? And so many humans are either fight for their place or struggle to find their place, and many conflicts are based on that's my place, right? And fighting for a place. But it's knowing that this is part of a certain 3D matrix that we don't need to opt into. Yes, it is true. You have your place, I have my place, and there are rules, and there are give and take, and there are, all of it. It is true. It is part of reality. But where I want to insist is that sometimes it stems from a wound of not being accepted in our original family grids, not being seen in our original family grids. And it simply has to be addressed, because your place is unique. Nobody can actually take your place, because what you are here to offer to the world has nothing to do with what the neighbor has to offer to the world. It has nothing to do with it. So that's what it is, to reclaim our power. It's not reclaim our power so I can become the queen of the world and can prove to the whole planet that I'm good. It can stem from this at the beginning, because there are wounds in the way. But at one point, something rests and it is in peace. I'm like, okay, like there's no need to fight. Because whatever is channeled through this instrument is not the same as the neighbor, and not the same as my best friend or my sister. There's no need to be in competition, jealousy, comparison. And it's not always easy, because especially as sisters, we have grown in systems where women were not going more and more back to this. But I know I was deeply wounded around this, so I know it's a path, and it's a relearning curve. So to honor each other in our light, in our gifts, in our power, in our voice, and realize that we have our unique set of skills and gifts to offer.
I really like that. I really like that, because I truly feel that deep down, everybody just wants to be at peace. So for me, finding your place in an embodied way brings you peace. I don't know if you relate to that, but listen to you, that just struck me,
Embodied place. I love how you're putting it, because when we sit down and we rest inside this body, we rest. That's the word. And our place is here. Our place is here and now, and all the potential is here and now. And it's acknowledging that the body is part of the equation, and that the whole picture is part of the equation. And for many, the body, we were in the 2-day retreat in the last 2 days, and some were saying how much it's uncomfortable and dense and limited in the body, and many avoid the body because of this, because it does feel like a box. When it does feel. I'll also remember when when I had to go in my body, because I was really somewhere else. And I was crying. I just didn't want to address it. I was like, I don't want to address it, because it was painful, and I had to face some traumas, and I had to face the reality of what I had repressed for a long time. But there's no other way, because the juice of the body, the power that we are here to reclaim, is just underneath those pains, and our gifts are just underneath those pains. And pain and pleasure are very close, so it's just an attitude towards it. So when there's pain, what wakes up in my body now is gratitude. It's like, oh wow, look at this new door. I get excited, and then my heart opens. I'm like, okay, then I surrender in it, and I'm like, wow, what are you here to show me? Open up, like that, the cavern of Alibaba, like it's like, okay, open up. I don't and it's a temple that we're here to open, with treasures inside. And the gratitude comes when we have this attitude. There's so much gratitude coming with opening our temple.
We could go on for hours on this subject. I know, like it's always too short, but I'll leave you the final word on what we've discussed, and if people are interested to know more.
Yes, perfect. So yes, thanks for everybody for listening through. I hope this inspires you, that it inspires you to continue with your yes, whatever journey you choose to take. Choose a journey that gets you back to yourselves. We offer a specific transformation system based on a whole lifetime of experience, and especially the last 12 years where I personally dove in, and Karine and everybody who's here with us is choosing this embodiment path that leads to a more a deeper path of 6 months journey. So we have different ways that you can connect with us, but the easiest way is, if you feel called, drop us a line either by email, by messenger, or we do have discovery call questionnaires that you can fill, and all of it is in the group. We can put the links underneath the post. Feel free to contact us, to ask your questions, and to dive in with us at whatever level you are. If it's a yes, know that it's a journey that you choose, and that you will be supported. You will be supported, that's for sure. So many blessings and gratitude for your presence. Keep on sharing on the group. Keep on sharing your poetry, your music, your voice, your path, whatever you want to share. Really share. It's really I love calling it a safe platform, even if I don't know what safety is constituted of for you, you know, but feel free. That's all I want to be sharing. And I want to conclude with this and say thank you to Karine for showing up on her path, in her voice, and with me on this journey that is composed of beautiful challenges, obstacles, and opportunities, like we love saying.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
See you soon. Mwah. Ciao,
Bye.
everybody.